What's up, plant lovers? I'm Devin Wallien, and today let's talk about pruning back our Rose of Sharon, our Althea, Hibiscus syriacus. Here you can see I have 5 plants growing in a beautiful hedge. These were planted 3 years ago, and now they are ready to get really their first pruning. Now that they are, 6 feet tall or so, I'm going to take them down a little bit. It's going to strengthen that foundational section of the plant so that it's really nice and strong, because many times as they get pretty tall, they will end up getting quite floppy, as well as, we want to remove any sort of excess growths that are happening in the middle of the plant that is really kind of obstructing airflow, things like that. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to do so. Now I'm here in Zone 6B in Eastern Pennsylvania. We're in the first week of April. I find that it's best to prune back our Rose of Sharon after that, really last threat of frost has come and gone. If you prune too early, Rose of Sharon can be very prone to desiccation, which is basically if you cut it and then you get those freezes, perhaps water will kind of enter into the tops of those stems, and then it freezes over, and then that will actually kill sections of those stems. Or it can actually just dry out. So those are ways that desiccation occurs, and then more of your stems will actually die than desired from that pruning. Now we always want to start with the low-hanging fruit, and that would be removing any dead or damaged branches. I don't have a lot of dead branches, but this one I can tell is dead. You can tell because it's a slight different coloration from this nice, strong, healthy stem. So I could probably just, you can see it's just not doing so good. So anything that's dead, we will remove right away. And a lot of times there will be some dead growth at the base of the plant, like this. So we can go ahead and remove these dead stems here, just like that. And while we're doing so, if you have any fallen branches, it's a good time to clean that out. The next thing that we want to do is we want to remove anything that is really thin, weak, spindly kind of growth, as well as anything that is growing in the wrong direction. So what I mean by growing in the wrong direction, things that are kind of growing inwards, we don't want that, because as I was saying, we want good airflow. That's going to allow for the best flower formation. Growth like this, which is just really small, we can go ahead and remove that. All of these small things that are just in the middle growing inwards, we don't really need those either. Now, once you get all that dead material, all the stems that are growing in the wrong direction, now we can start to make some of our bigger prunes, which would basically be, today I'm going to be taking off about a half of these larger stems. And that's really going to strengthen up what is remaining beneath it, so that as it grows the rest of the season, it's not going to get too heavy up top and start to flop over. If you like sort of that cascading look, then perhaps don't prune it. But if you want a nice upright plant, this is what you're going to want to do. You can take as little as about a third, but you can also even go further. Up to 2/3 of the stem material can be removed, and that's going to really allow for a strong base and give a nice revitalization to our Rose of Sharon. So the main thing that we want to look out for when we are pruning is that we want to prune, cut just above a bud. Buds and nodes are synonymous, same thing. So you can see here's a bud, there's one here, here's another bud with the stem coming off. So I'm going to choose a bud, and I'm going to leave the stems that are in the middle perhaps a little bit taller, and then I will sort of gradually go down as I move further away from the center, and that's going to give a nice sort of pyramidal shape about it. So when I cut, I will have my nice clean sharp shears, and I'm going to cut at a slight angle so that any water that, rain water that comes down, it's not going to just sit on a flat top. So we're just going to take our shears, and we're going to just cut above that node, just like that. And then just a little bit further out, cut a little bit lower, here, just like that. And if you have some of these thinner growths that are still on, you can cut those down a little bit further. That way they will still have a chance to grow, but they will strengthen up. So any sort of weak growth like this, I'm just gonna remove it all the way along the stem. It's really not necessary. And then once you have a nice solid framework like this, you can see, is there any branching that is actually like crossing each other? It's a lot easier to see now that we've kind of taken off a lot of that bulkiness. So I can see this one is crossing. I'm gonna remove that because I don't want it to sort of rub into the other stems, and I don't want it to obstruct the airflow in the middle of the plant. So I will just cut this off just like this. And now it's looking pretty good. You can see there's a distance of a few inches between each of these major stems, and that's good. That's gonna help to keep it nice and healthy and allow for the airflow is really important for these plants. It's gonna keep it from getting overly heavy, and it's going to also help to ensure, allow for it to flower the nicest possible. Well, I know it looks like I cut a lot off, and I did, but I could have even cut even more off. Rose of Sharon responds very well to hard pruning, particularly if you have older plants. You can prune them even harder for renewal pruning, and I'll have to make a video once these guys are ready for that sort of renewal. But for now, I think this looks great. It should grow nicely. The head should get nice and thick, and it should get to a height that that is appropriate for this location. If you have any other further questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. Thank you guys for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. I will catch you guys soon. Ciao.